With the COVID-19 outbreak, some networking and investor pitching sessions for startups have been postponed, while some companies are taking a pause on their growth plans as their investors take a wait-and-see approach to injecting more funds. Michelle Teo finds out how some of these firms and their community are adjusting to the changes.
Property management startup iPlus aims to help condominium residents with facility management needs. By using the app, customers can search for cleaning and food delivery services. Even though the firm says it's experiencing a rise in demand for its product, it has put the brakes on its expansion plans due to the COVID-19 outbreak.
I don't think many startups actually allocate a fund aside just in case there's a disaster. So a lot of them, this is a surprise to a lot of startups. I think the other one that also affects us is as we are in the midst of also fundraising, we have sort of decided to put off fundraising as well, because I think even though everyone says that investment is a long-term thing, we see a knee-jerk reaction to a lot of our potential investors. Everyone is saying, let's see how it goes.
The Singapore FinTech Association says some members have cancelled overseas travel plans, focusing instead on building their core strength in Singapore. But it claims business is as usual.
Some of the events are postponed to the second half of the year in view of the coronavirus. We have a few events that are still proceeding, but via a different channel. We are going for a webinar. So that our members can still attend those events, not in person, but via the web. And we also spoken to our sponsors if they like our events to be postponed to the next half of the year.
But some investors or venture capitalists aren't perturbed, as they see there's value in investing in some startups regardless of the virus outbreak. For example, more attention could be paid to those in the biomedical sector or those with commercial value with faster time to market.
The general trend is that all VC investments and investments in technology and so on is increasing anyway. So whether it goes like that or whether it goes like that or like that, it's not going to be that significant. I don't think in the short term there's an impact, but let's see, because countries' GDPs may be impacted, and when GDP is impacted, it trickles down. So over time, you could see the repercussions somewhere along the line.
On average, over 50,000 new businesses are formed in the city-state each year. According to a Bain & Company study, the number of recorded venture capital deals in Singapore rose to 524 in 2017, quadrupling the number recorded in 2012.
For more on how businesses can navigate this critical period, we're joined now by Associate Professor Lawrence Loh, Director of the Centre for Governance, Institutions and Organisations at NUS Business School. Firstly, why is it so important for companies to ensure that proper business continuity plans are in place during this time?
I think first of all, it's very important that the company, the organization keeps going. It's very important to actually look at the core processes. And I think there are actually two aspects of it. One is the prevention and two is recovery. I think it's very important to that the organization keep running so that, it doesn't affect the products, the services, as well as the stakeholders. Literally, you don't want to skip a heartbeat.
But then how can companies actually tell when they're doing too much or perhaps maybe in other words overreacting?
I think to put it in perspective, every business is actually unique. Every one of them have their own set of risks, and I know it's always good to be cautious. But at the same time, going overboard might actually backfire when, the preparation will actually create an even bigger disruption. And I think more organizations will actually have to do their assessment very carefully, make a good balance. Don't make the reaction an even bigger problem for everyone in the company.
So you're saying then that there is a danger of doing too much?
Yes, definitely. You will always tend to overshoot, and I think this might actually create more panic, even alarm the stakeholders unnecessarily. And I think in this COVID-19 crisis, fear can actually be more infectious than the virus itself.
Professor, so We know that many events have been cancelled because of COVID-19. What's your assessment of the situation on the business front? You know, what advice do you have for businesses, especially for our local SMEs, to tide through this difficult period?
I think to begin with, it's always very good to be prepared. To be prepared with a business continuity plan, have the plan for prevention and recovery. It's also very important to practice your plan in terms of maybe paper review, desktop simulation, or even full-scale rehearsal. And I think with that, you build up confidence, and I think life can just go on in the company, knowing full well that every aspect of your operation is already, when the button press go, everything can be instantaneously switched to the recovery mode. So I think it's very important to be prepared, and then life can go on as normal.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. We've been speaking with Associate Professor Lawrence Loh, Director of Center for Governance, Institutions and Organizations at NUS Business School.